Arvind?
This is also to give a wrong notion to all the North Indians who are really not that much updated about Yediyurappa and who are about to vote. They want to send a very clear wrong signal, so that as soon as the clarifications start pouring in, before that the voting ends up, and then you wrap up, and then later everything follows. It's a very decisively deceiving nature of the BJP leaders that they have taken up this wrong position. It is not his unawareness. Let me be very clear that it is a very tactically informed, deceiving nature which they have exhibited today.
Also, when you speak to the BJP leaders, when you say B.S. Yediyurappa and corruption, the first thing that they notice or that comes to their mind is the Lokayukta report on illegal mining. Yes, that report was quashed by the court. The charges weren't pressed against Yediyurappa, but there are several other cases against Yediyurappa, including denotification, the Benignalli denotification, where he's a co-accused with D.K. Shivakumar. In total, this, according to his own affidavit submitted, he has 9 cases against him, and the charges include under the Prevention of Corruption Act, forgery. These are some of the charges against B.S. Yediyurappa. So perhaps Modi might be referring to that Karnataka Lokayukta report when he said the High Court has dismissed the report, but there are still serious charges against Yediyurappa.
Now, Harish, can you take us through, if you could start once more with Sriramulu, what are the cases against him, the total cases and the serious charges?
Yes, Nolan, if you look at Sriramulu, he has 8 cases against him, and out of which 3 are serious charges of IPC that have been slashed against him. This including causing hurt by dangerous weapon or means. This is IPC 324. You also have attempt to murder under IPC section 307. That's a serious charge. And you also have criminal intimidation under IPC section 506. These are the 3 serious IPC charges. Apart from this, he has other charges for model code of conduct violation during election, and the other charges against him are being a member of unlawful assembly and rioting, and these charges. But these 3, the first 3 that I read out, are some serious charges, Nolan.
Shashwati, do you think that there was this opposition within the BJP itself and the central leadership against taking back both Yediyurappa also there was and Sriramulu? Is that once they form the government, which they are talking about, it will not, the opposition will not get a chance to actually hammer them on this particular issue?
No, opposition as in you're talking about the Congress?
The Congress, the other parties over there. So instead of going ahead with policy, here they'll have another issue to focus on. You're talking about a clean government, and here you have with you Sriramulu, Yediyurappa, and the rest of them.
Look, I think political parties, I mean, if you were to draw this kind of a simple 1:1 equation saying everybody who's corrupt and has a charge should not be in politics, then, you know, 50% of the contest and the candidates would actually get disqualified. So that's not real politics. Politics doesn't happen that way. That's point number 1. Point number 2, I think it's very, very important to remember that one lesson that all political parties have learnt over the years is public memory is very, very short. And they're banking on that. They're banking on the fact that once everything, the party comes to power, once government formation happens and all of that, people are just going to forget, and you know, they're not even going to think whether Yediyurappa is corrupt or not, because ultimately what is Yediyurappa's role? His role is to get them the seats, right? When Yediyurappa got expelled from the party, and even if he was not corrupt, the party need not have expelled him. But once he was expelled from the party and formed KJP, he proved point number 2, which is that I can do what I like, but I still get the votes. You know, I still have my followers. And therefore, if the following and the fan base of whether it's a Sriramulu or for that matter an A. Raja in Tamil Nadu, you know, when people like this win year after year after year, sometimes you wonder whether corruption is a very serious issue for their electorate, or is it just an issue for those who are watching them sitting outside. And that's what the BJP is banking on. I mean, you can keep firing salvos at them. At the end of the day, what is the game they are in? They are in the game of winning seats. So if these guys are going to get them the seats, everything is justified.
So basically corruption is not an issue for, according to them.
Well, they are saying there is no corruption. You see, that's exactly where the positions are differing, because they are saying there is no corruption, there is no charge. We are saying these people are corrupt. So it's really a matter of, you know, if corruption is a perception, and I seriously think corruption is an issue of perception as well, because if you are perceived to be corrupt, you are corrupt. You know, after that you can show me 5,000 leaflets lots of brochures and court orders. But are you going to be able to wipe out that image from my mind of you being corrupt? So, but it is necessary for those backing you to scream from the rooftops saying you are clean, and that's what Narendra Modi is doing. Because if these people were not corrupt and if people did not believe they were corrupt, there would be no reason for Modi to even justify. Right? So there is a perception, which is why a man who is deemed to be the next Prime Minister of this country feels the need to comment at the micro level on the issue of corruption. Yeah.
Mr. Vaz, what do you have to say about this? I mean, do you think, like what Shashwati said, Modi knows about their situation, he knows about the cases against them and the charges, but he's trying to, like you state, cover them at the micro level?
No, see, who is Modi trying to cover? If what you say is correct, who is he trying to convert, or who is trying to convince about that either Mr. Yediyurappa is not corrupt, no charges or cases are pending against him, or Mr. Sri Ramulu is clean? Who is he trying to convince? Is it the people of Karnataka or the people of outside Karnataka? If he is trying to convince the people of Karnataka, then he is mistaken. He cannot convince, because people of Karnataka know what both these leaders are and what are the cases pending against them, why they had left the BJP and why BJP brought them in. If his intention is to convince the people of India, the outside Karnataka, then maybe he is correct. But then, if that was the case, why did the BJP give the ticket to Shabir Ali and then withdrew it? So, that is not the issue. Issue is he just trying to woodwink the people. He may have known about the cases definitely against Mr. Yediyurappa and Sri Ramulu, but he wants to fool the people, or maybe he thinks just because like you said, because Lokayukta has quashed the CBI court has quashed a part of the Lokayukta report, that means he is clean. He is not clean because cases are pending against him. He is out on bail.
All right. So, Arvind, now considering what all you stated, that he's trying to fool the people and all, but do you think that it really doesn't matter for the people? Because remember, after that, we had assembly elections. Both of them won, Sri Ramulu as well as Yediyurappa. The people of Karnataka know for a fact what's happened over here. They know all these charges, but still they won. So, if you look at it, like what Shashwati also said, it's how you perceive a person, whether he or she is not corrupt. So, do you think that it really doesn't matter with the electorate over there?
No, I don't think corruption is a perception, as one of the dignified guests has told here. It is definitely a reason to be matter, and everybody is observing this. But it is just their charishma and
right.
Their...
Arvind, I'm going to come back to you. In fact, we now have with us Mr. U.R. Ananthamurthy, Jnanapita awardee. Mr. Ananthamurthy, thank you for speaking to News 9. Now, Narendra Modi has actually stated that there are no allegations whatsoever against Sri Ramulu and Yediyurappa. What do you have to say about that?
I can only laugh at this because Modi has become more human than what we thought he was, We thought that he was a brave man who never could be corrupt, but, he is like any other politician.
Mr. Ananthamurthy, why do you think he's doing this? Why do you think he has come out with this particular statement that there are no allegations against them, that they're all clean?
Because, in order to become Prime Minister, he can't lose 2 votes, He needs those 2 votes. He's an ambitious man. He's after power. He's like anyone, a second-rate politician. I have had no regard for Modi as a big thing, It was made by the media. I'm not impressed. He's as good as Yediyurappa, There is nothing very different between the two.
Okay, now, do you think this will actually matter to the people, whether they have cases against them or not? Now, considering the fact that everyone's talking about a Modi wave and Modi says that these 2 people are clean, do you think this will actually help them?
I am from Shimoga. I'm sure that people in Shimoga will just smile and say, this is what is expected of a politician.
All right. Harish, do you want to?
Well, I think as he said, people know what it is, and they also know why Modi is saying this.
All right. Right, Mr. Anand Murthy, thank you very much for speaking to News 9. Now, yes, Arvind.
This definitely would boomerang one or the other day. It is just because of the charisma. With charisma, you can raise to the peak. You cannot maintain it for any more longer.
But
It definitely is going to boomerang.
But then there's one dangerous trend that's almost growing now in Karnataka and across the nation, where tainted MLAs are taken into cabinet, saying that the charges are not proven yet. So it's fine. It's just they're just accused. They haven't been convicted in this, because Karnataka has 2 ministers who are accused in 2 different cases of Lokayukta, one along with Yediyurappa. So it is a dangerous trend that's growing, and now you also have Modi almost defending both the people.
See, politics and government formation, unfortunately, does not work on the principles of cleanliness and hygiene that you are talking about. You know, government formation and real politics actually works on caste compositions and social engineering. Therefore, whether you want to give a ministership to an ex-MLA or not is determined by the caste from which he belongs and which needs representation in the government, keeping an eye on victory in the future.
Regardless whether he's corrupt or not, regardless whether he has cases.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. The predominant principle is he a vote catcher? Can he keep me in power? Now, if he has to keep me in power, then he has to have a hold over his base, which is the strength that Yediyurappa is showing you today. Okay, if he wins, and you know, from all reports and all indications, he is facing a tough fight in Shimoga, right? But there is always the possibility that he will, scrape through. Now, even if he scrapes through, and even if he polls X lakh votes, you know, are we going to assume that those X lakh people back corruption? No, that is not how it comes across. You know, the person who's voting for Yediyurappa, and he will get votes. Is it sensible to draw an equation saying all those people are actually in favor of corruption? No. They are voting for their caste candidate. You know, and that was one of the predominant reasons why Yediyurappa was brought back, because the Lingayat votes needed to be consolidated. I mean, just one quick point. In both these cases, what was BJP's strategy on the ground to win the elections in Karnataka? They needed to do 2 things, which is what hurt them in the assembly elections. 1, they needed to consolidate the Lingayat vote. 2, they needed to break the backward classes vote. Because that is Siddaramaya's,
True.
Okay, and if they could, then there would be mayhem within the Congress, because people from the Congress would bay for Siddaramaya's blood. And that's really the game plan for the BJP in Karnataka this year. And these 2 guys were very critical for them to be able to do that.
They brought them back.
Yeah,
inside.
so, you know, so if you just look at Yediyurappa and Sriramulu as pawns in the game, don't give
Nothing
them
more.
a bigger role. They're just a pawn in
The central
overall.
BJP
Absolutely.
unit is using
Yeah.
them as pawns. All right.